Namaskar. I welcome you all to our interview series in pursuit of excellence. Today we have amongst us the renowned Bharatanatyam exponent, SNA and Padma Shri awardee, Srimati Prathibha Prahlad. Namaste, Pratibha ji. How are you?
Hey.
Yes. So, as we were discussing, Pratibha ji, the topic of your interview and today's interview is arts in the current scenario, but it is also about your personal journey in the field of dance and the pursuit of excellence that you have perceived and followed throughout. So I would request you if you could just take us through the journey from the beginning. How did you encounter dance and Bharatanatyam? Because I believe that you were also a mass communication student at one point. So if you could just
Uh,
take us
yeah.
through there.
So I've had a pretty incredible journey in the field of arts, and it's one of the most unexpected where my family was concerned because in my family, I mean, though people learned music, not dance necessarily, but music, because my aunt was a very good singer, Carnatic vocalist, and my second aunt used to play veena, and my father's sister also is a very good vocalist. So while girls in the family learned Carnatic vocal as routine, as routine from a very young age, and also learned painting and knitting and poetry and things like that. um, I kind of digressed and became a dancer much by fluke. My mother was professor of English, and my father was an engineer, and we were a nuclear family. So when I was about 4.5 years old, we used to only have a maid servant who used to take us to school, walk us to school actually, my brother and I, and get us back home. And we would be pretty much in the house till my parents returned around 4:35. So whenever I used to pass by a house around the corner when I used to go to school, on my way to school, on my way back, and I used to hear the sound of tactically someone playing the tactically and reciting some shlokas. And sometimes I used to hear the sound of gumrus. Geje, we call it in Karnataka, we call it gumrus, we call it geje. So I used to be very intrigued, and soon after I came, I came back from school. I would have lunch and tell my maid that I would go into that house, not to tell anybody, and I would just run into that house and sit there. And I was, like I said, 4.5, and there used to be all these girls, 10, 12, 14, 16 years old, learning dance from a teacher called Sunanda Devi. Sunanda Devi used to learn from an traditional guru called Lokaya of Mysore school. He was called Guru Lokaya, and he used to come to people's houses and teach. And that was the tradition those days, where gurus went, dance teachers went to the houses of of young people who wanted to learn, and when the families were involved, I'm saying, when the mothers become mothers and fathers of Google and teach dance. So Sunanda, I think my teacher Sunanda belonged to one such family because her mother also was a singer. And Lokaya sir used to go there, and I didn't know Lokaya sir then. I was too young. I did not even know Sunanda Devi then because I was far too young. But what kind of pulled me there was the sound of the geje, the gunguru's sound, and the sound of the taktikali. And I would be sitting there, and then all these young girls would indulge me, call me bobcat girl, pretty, that kind of a thing. I had a bob in the front, and then that master would come, and Guruma, Lokaya sir would say, "Bobcat girl, come here, give me chocolates." Then they would make little peacock feathers for me. So there was a lot of fun, over there for me. Those couple of hours I spent there in the afternoon was most enjoyable. I mean, I used to really love my time, just spending time there. Once what happened, some girls, some senior dancers, about 16 years old, 17 years old, I think, they were supposed to do a performance and they were doing some item and they went wrong. And Sunanda auntie was very, very upset. She said, "What is this?" And your performance in like, whatever, a couple of days the next week or something like that, and you don't remember. So just per chance, Lokaya sir, said, "Why don't you ask that the Bobcat girl? I'm sure she knows, the movement." So he called me and he said he started playing that thing, that Kathakali, and said, "Dance, do you remember what the movement is?" And I did, you know. I mean, I did remember, and I did do the entire thing, much to the astonishment of all the senior, students who were learning there, the girls, and my teacher Sunanda Devi, who was not yet my teacher, by the way. Like I said, I used to go there to spend a couple of hours, get pampered by my Sunanda teacher, her mother, and all these other dancers, and come back home and feel very happy with myself. I was just observing. I was not actually training to dance. So when they saw that I could dance and I remembered the item, the teacher guru Lokaya sir said, "Why don't you put her on stage next week with one short item? Just put her on stage." She said, "No, she's not learned." He said, "She will learn. Put her on stage with a small item. Just teach her one small item. She's got that power of memory that she can reproduce what she sees. She can reproduce what you teach her." So she taught me a short item, and it was a very popular Kannada song, on Krishna. So, and I was very, very young, and the performance was in Vijaya High School, which is a school, basically, a high school. And they put me on stage. They wanted to borrow, my costume. I knew nothing. And that is when my mother got to know that I was going and spending time with a dance teacher, around the corner from down, yeah, from my house. And when she got to know, she came and she met the teacher and said, "How long has she been coming?" The teacher said about, 1 year probably, or 8 months. She's been coming regularly, and we want to put her on stage because she knows this item and it's the right age. So my mother said, "Okay," because the thing about my parents was that they never said no to anything that I wanted to do. And that I think is a wonderful, wonderful quality because, at that time I never realized how fortunate I am. But now when I see so many, people, so many children, so many students who keep telling me that they aren't able to, follow their dreams and they aren't able to fulfill their dreams because there are impediments within the household. Of course, there are impediments outside. Not all of us know when you come out, step out of the house. But then there were, like blockades within the household. There were objections within the family. Then I understood how fortunate I was because never have I encountered any sort of a blockade or an objection or an impediment within my family. My mother said no. I never said no to anything. Never said no to anything I wanted to do. Neither did my father. So anyway, so I performed a short piece, and then from then my formal training started. And then I was on stage when I was about 6 years old, 6.5. From then on, I gave my first full-fledged performance when I was about 8, I think, about, yeah, 8.5. And I used to learn, and then Suranda, a teacher in the meantime, got married. So she left for Hyderabad. And then we didn't know what to do, and I was a little, kind of depressed and all that. So my mother wasn't into dance. She was, like I said, a professor of English. And though the family respects art, nobody in the family was a professional artist. I mean, it was unthinkable. It was a family of people in the field of education. So if aspirations be, then the aspiration was to be a doctor or a neurosurgeon or a management professional or or do civil service exams or something like that. Not be a dancer, you know. So a lot of times, well, I did my. Then there was a teacher who used to come in the area called Sundar Kumar. my mother fixed him to come to my place too, and he would come every Thursday evening and Sunday morning. And I must tell you that I hated Thursday evenings and I hated Sunday mornings.
Why?
So, that's what I'm saying. Life was incredible, right? So I finally had a teacher coming home to teach me, but I hated those 2 days. I used to dread Thursday evenings and Sunday mornings, thinking that, oh my God,
But
because
why
I
was
hated the
that?
math.
You love dancing, right?
I loved dance, but I didn't love the things that went around it. I think the whole idea of dance for me was the purity of it, the joy of it, the freedom of it, and the spiritedness of it. Not the constraints, not the the kind of whatever. I mean, little things like these teachers were harsh. He would like hit me on my knuckles, and over here if I did not do my aramandi properly, or if I did not keep my elbow straight, he would hit me here, things like that. So those little acts of physical abuse and prescription, and saying that you should do it this way or do it that way, not giving a logical explanation as to why it had to be so. I think even then, in that at that age, I resisted it. I resisted control. For me, anything, any sort of a control where someone was going to come and I was to be ready and then I was to be obedient and I was to, enter into this space and go through movements mechanically without joy. While this person spoke about, how great other people were and whatever else, and then, I had a pretentious kind of a self-image. It didn't work for me. So I think it didn't work for me. So anyway,
But
the
I
fact is,
believe, yeah. Sorry, I believe you also learned from some of the greatest maestros of their generation. U.S.
that's
Krishna
what I'm
Rao.
saying.
Yeah,
How my journey began, right? So
yeah.
this is how my journey began. I did my formal Ranga Pravesha under this person, under Sundar Kumar, on January 1st, 1977, in Ravindra Kalakshetra. And my mother was really unsure that I would go through it, because she thought that halfway through the Varnam, I would say, no, this is not working for me, it's too boring, and I would walk out in front of a full audience, and she really believed it would happen. So what she did was she fixed a smaller hall, the Indian Institute of World Culture. I invited a few people and said, I'm going to test whether you're going to go through this entire performance. So I had to go through like a dry run of my bedroom
Soft opening. Yeah.
with with an audience, just to prove to her that I could actually do it. And when she saw me do that, she said, "Okay, maybe now." And she was saying she used to tell everyone much after that I thought halfway through that performance, my daughter would say, Mom, I've had it. It's too boring. You do what you want with it, and just walk out, because that is her personality. That's what she does, kind of a thing. So anyway, that my job, but I kind of stuck to dance. I kind of stuck to dance. Or maybe dance just stuck to me. I don't know which way it is. But anyway, I continued, and then I went to US Krishna Rao and Chandrabhaga Devi. They were actually the teachers, the gurus of Sundar Kumar. So my next step was to go to them, because they sent word to me. I got very good reviews for my first performance. I was in all the papers, and the most feared critics at that time wrote fantastic things about me. So the gurus, U.S. Krishna Rao and Chandrabhaga Devi, they contacted me, my mother, in fact, not me, my mother, and said that we would like to take her under our wing, because she has talent, extraordinary talent. So then my mother said, okay. So I started going to their school, Mahamaya, and I started learning from them. And I learned from them for many years, performed a lot in Karnataka. And by the time I was 18, I was really famous in Karnataka. I mean, really famous. When I say famous, I mean like among the top dancers of Karnataka. So, on any occasion, I would be invited to perform. I was written about as a young dancer. I was written about in all the columns on dance, music, because those days used to be a lot of dance writing, writing on dancers, young dancers. And I miss it these days because I think, it's very important because it gives young dancers motivation, when they're written about in a positive light and they're given a direction, it gives them motivation to further their career because the career is a hard one. The choice is hard. And so you need, support to build your own support structure. And some good word about you here and there makes you feel re-energized and puts you on the path again. And I think it's very, very, very important. And I feel very sad that it's not, available for the youngsters of today. But having said that, uh, I watched Kalanidhi Narayanan in Bangalore when I was pretty young, like I said, around 18, 19 maybe. I watched her because she came for a seminar, and then it was a demonstration, like a lecture demonstration, and she gave this demonstration. I was fascinated by her, the expressions, the way she, emoted, the way she kind of, explained what she did, and and the fact that she had all these beautiful, beautiful items from Kshetriya, Sarangapani, and all those legendary poets. I was completely fascinated. So there was a person called B.V.K. Shastri who used to be a very respected writer of the arts, critic, dance music critic of one of the newspapers, but also very respected nationally in the arts field. So he used to be a member of Sangeet Academy at one time, I think, and many other things. So I went to BVK uncle and I asked him, and I said, "Can you please, recommend me to Kalanidhi auntie and tell her that I want to learn from her? Please, help me." So he said, "How can you go to Chennai?" It was called Madras those days. He said, "How can you go to Madras every day? You're still you're going to college here, you have your college commitments. Your mother will never allow you to give up college and, get into full-time dance. So how will you manage this?" So I told him that I will. That was my problem. So can you please introduce me to her and tell her that I want to learn from her? Which he did. And I'm grateful to him for that. And then began my sojourn to Madras. So every Friday night, I would take the night train to Madras, and the train, departed Bangalore station central at 10 p.m. and it would arrive in Madras Central at 5 a.m. And I was on a train every Friday night. Saturday morning, 5 o'clock, I would reach Madras, then wait for dawn break because I did not know Tamil. I did not know anybody in Madras. And I was scared of going in auto rickshaws because there were all these auto drivers, criminals as auto drivers, all that at that time. And I was young, very, very young. So I used to lug my luggage and get into a bus and go to Shastri Nagar, where Kalanidhi auntie lived. Pretty far off, near Adyar, Shastri Nagar. And I would reach there by about 7:30, and she would immediately give me a cup of coffee and say have a shower. And 8 o'clock I was in class, 8 a.m. So 8 to 9 a.m. was my class with Kalanidhi auntie, and after which I would sit back and watch her teaching other students. And whenever she had a hour's break, she would again take me on. So I would have about 2 3 hours with her during the day. And then on Sunday too, I would do these 2 3 hours with her and catch the Sunday night train, same departure 10 o'clock, Madras Central, and arrival Bangalore at 5 a.m. in the morning on Monday morning. Go home, change, and be in college at 10 o'clock in the morning. Mount Carmel College.
How long did this go
So
on?
this thing went on throughout my college years, which is like 4 years of college. Because I started with second year in college, so 4 years of college. Then my mother said I had to do master's degree because she said you can't be a professional dancer without a master's degree. All of us in our family had master's degrees. So I said, okay. So I joined mass communication that you mentioned. Bangalore University had a degree course in mass communication. So I joined that. And again, I would do this, but before joining mass communication, Kaladi Narayan had taken me to a performance in Music Academy where Guru Muthuswami Pillai was doing a same thing, a lecture demonstration. And the demonstration was by his French students because he had no Indian students at that time. He only had French students. And so it was beautiful. The technique was different. The choreography was geometrical. What was no simple linear kind of a choreography in Bharatanatyam until that time suddenly opened up like a flower, like a lotus. It was all over the place, and zigzag, that, this, sit down, get up. I mean, it was all geometrical, and the whole thing looked so stunning, amazing, breathtaking. So I was again in that world of dance where nothing mattered except that this person, Guru Muthuswami Pillai, had to be my guru, that I had to learn from him, that I had to learn whatever it took. So Kalaldi Narayanan introduced me to Guru Muthuswami Pillai, and he used to be in Mylapore, just behind the Mylapore temple. He had a small house, small room, not a small house, where he lived alone. And it was a strange kind of a situation where I went and he would come out, I would go in, change my clothes, into my dance, practice dress. Then he would come in and then we would have this 1 2 hour session. And then again he would go out, I would change into my regular clothes and come back. Oh, it was a different life. I mean, there was nothing else except for the fact that I had to practice, I had to learn, and I had to eat to be alive.
And what was this force which was driving you? You wanted to be a professional dancer? Was this a concrete thought, or did you want to pursue your mass communication as a profession?
Um, I wanted to be a professional dancer. I decided at age 18 that I wanted to be a professional dancer. And my parents, coming from the social background that they did, like I told you, clearly told me that this would happen, that I could be a professional dancer once I had a master's degree. They said that you have to be able to have an alternate career because we do not think that you can have a career in the arts. That's nobody in our families had that. My poor grandfather, I say poor because he was such a gentleman, such a sweet man. He was also a teacher, like, I mean, a college teacher, mathematics teacher, in fact, and a very good one at that. Every day, he would either call me, those days landline phones, or he would, whenever he came home, he would sit me down and say, "You're so intelligent. Why don't you do a civil service exams? Why don't you do this?" Then I would say, "No, no, no, I don't want to say." And he would say, "Okay, why don't you get a job as a banker? Why don't you? You're so good in mathematics." He just wanted, he was so uncertain, of the profession that I wanted, I'd set my heart on. And in such a gentle, sweet way, he would try to, like, I, I mean, try to take me out of that field and say, okay, well, you can always dance. You can always have dance as a hobby. Why don't you do your civil service exam? Why don't you, he would get me all these forms to write the bank exams. And he would get me all these, say, please, why don't you do this kind of a thing? And I never did anything because I had set my heart on being a professional dancer. And I knew that it was not a certainty that I would make it at the national level, though at the state level, like I said, I was already a name to reckon with. But it was hard. It was not easy. It's never easy to be a dancer.
Yeah, I believe that your relationship with Guru Muthuswami Pillai was also a little tumultuous. So if you could just take us through and how you also cut across and still practice and, be a dancer.
So my problem with Guru Muthuswami Pillai started because because what do I say? Because of the differences in our in the backgrounds in our in the social backgrounds we came from. Now, Guru Muthuswami Pillai was from a traditional Devadasi family. So all that he had encountered in his life, where the ethos and the ethics and the norms and the conventions and the behavior patterns of the parampara, the
Devadasi.
Devadasi,
Yes.
the social, milieu from which he came, right? And the students he had taught earlier, his most famous being, a dancing duo, two sisters called Sai Subbalakshmi. They were dancers who also worked in cinema. So the early dancers who learned from Guru Muthu, and Muthuswami Pillai, by the way, also choreographed for cinema. The dancers in Tamil cinema and all that. So the early dancers who learned from whether Muthuswami Pillai or whether from Vempati Sir, Chinna Satyam or anybody, also, did cinema. They acted, whatever, I mean, whatever role, capacity, whatever thing, but they did that. Now, I was not from that background. I was from an educated background, from a totally different background for you. And I was from an English speaking background. Not, first of all, there was this, the barrier of Tamil, the language of, of speaking Tamil with them. We had a communication problem. I learned Tamil, but I was not that fluent that I could sit down and converse with him. For a long time, I pretended not to know Tamil because the kind of things he said to me was not palatable to my taste, was not palatable to the upbringing that from where I came from what I had learned. So our first problem was that. The second problem was that he, like most gurus, I think, who he fell in love with his muse, like most good artists. So here was the muse, a student who he was, putting all his energies into teaching everything because like I said, I was at that point in time the only Indian student that he had, you know, and I was coming all the way from Bangalore. So there was no mother, father escorting me, because most dancers in Tamil Nadu had escorts. Their mothers used to escort them around for teaching, performances, or their fathers or uncles or someone escorted them, you know. I say this deliberately because you can go back and check all the other dancers of South Indian dancers at that time. They all had escorts. Escorts. I mean, I don't mean it in a negative way. I mean, your father could be your escort, or your
A
uncle could be your
chaperon.
escort.
Yeah, yeah.
Like like for you must have heard about you're young, or you must have heard about Hema Malini and her amma, or Vaijayanti Mala and her grandmother, that kind of a thing. So you had a senior person around to take care of all these other problems of unwanted attention, of unwanted,
Yeah,
um, talk,
yeah.
conversations, and things like that. I didn't have anybody. I went alone from Bangalore to Chennai, and that I think you know gave my guru the impression that I was it's a very strange thing. I don't know if you know. I mean, I don't. You're a young man, so I don't know how to explain this to you. But there was a time in India when we were growing up when it was easy to cast aspersions on the woman.
Yes. It still is, not much has changed.
Yeah. So it didn't take much for someone to say, "Oh, she's a dancer, so she must be loose."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the
It didn't take
general
much for
perception
someone.
anyway.
Yeah, it's a perception. So it didn't take much for somebody to say, "Oh, but she's a dancer, so she must be available."
Yeah,
And I don't know. I mean, I have fought that mindset, for the longest ever time in my life. But and it started with my youth, way back there with my guru. See, the thing is that the teachers I had, the gurus I had before Muthuswami Pillai, Kalanidhi Narayanan, came from, again, a Brahmin middle class family.
Yeah, educated.
And she was a lady and she was like a mother.
Yeah.
And so she kind of took me under her care and protected me and looked after me. So I was protected in her household. My earlier teachers, Guru U.S. Krishnarao and Chandrabhaga Devi, were family people. They were, they fell in love with each other. They got married. They used to perform as a couple. They spoke English. They spoke Konkani. They kept a beautiful home. So they belong to the same social milieu that I did, that I came from, more or less. And they understood the fact that I wanted to learn dance. Fine, she wants to learn dance. But so as long as she wants to dance, she'll dance. That kind of a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the biggest problem with Guru Muthuswami Pillai was that we came from different social backgrounds.
Yes.
He and I. So he never understood that I could be that and love dance
Yeah.
and not want to be a film star
Yeah.
and not want to be anything else that went with it.
Yeah.
That I could be a pure professional dancer,
Yeah.
just simply for the joy of it, for the love of it. And that was difficult for him to understand. So
Yeah.
that's when the problem started. He would, he was very possessive.
But then with all these issues, how did you still kept on progressing with your dance? I mean, that's what I'm interested to know.
So the dance, you know, the material that he had for dance, his own, like I said, his choreographies, the traditional items that he taught, the freshness of approach that he brought to it was uniquely his. Was uniquely his. He was outstanding. He was a genius. He was a he was a genius master. And it's just sad that he doesn't have his place, under the sun like other great gurus, simply because he was emotional, he was temperamental, he was childish, um, and to the point of being, silly sometimes. So he used to take money from me in advance. Like, for example, you will not believe this, but at that time, and I'm talking about 1982, right? 82, 83. I should pay 5,000 rupees for a Varnam. One Varnam would cost me 5,000 rupees. And he wanted the entire 5,000 rupees in advance. Because he used to take money from me per item, not not for per class or something like that. Because I used to go from Bangalore to Chennai. So it was, it was in his interest that he taught me early. It was in my interest that I learned early because I would record it, come back, practice for 1 week, and then go back the following weekend to learn more. So almost always we never revisited what we already learned till the entire item was finished, and then I had to do the entire item. And that, of course, I had to do it 5 times, 10 times. But since I had practiced so much, everything was just part of me. Like I said, the body memory, the body has its own memory, muscle memory, or whatever you want to call it. And then, of course, my own memory. And Muthuswami Pillai himself used to say that I was like a Xerox machine, that he just had to, show one item or one movement, and I would just capture it like a Xerox machine and keep it in my brain, and I was able to, reproduce it. So whatever it was, before every performance, he gave me trouble. And the trouble would start off in a very trivial way, then it would, get into a very kind of a sexual kind of a space. Um, I got Kalanidhi Mami to intervene. I got other people to intervene. I never told my parents because I knew that the moment I told my parents, they would take me away from dance. They would prevent me from going to Chennai, to Madras to learn. They would say, it's okay, just stay home, do IAS, do IFS, do something, do advertising, do something. But no dance. So I said, no, I can't tell them. So without telling them, I had to tell people who understood and who could manage. Because I still wanted to learn from him. I didn't want to learn from anybody else. But I didn't want him to have all these other, problems that he kind of created for me because of his own emotional, whatever, instability. or whatever you want to call it, and non-discerning capacity to, not able to discern. So anyway, so this went on till a time when it became really unbearable. When it was unbearable for me,
But
and
no,
then I started.
I was just saying that you've had your share of uh, all these negative men, but you also had a very beautiful man in your life who really, really appreciated your art and you, and you know, really, the, you were the apple of the eye. So how was that experience? And again, since we are talking about dance and society and this continued pursuit of, you know, of the art form, so how did you get across through that phase also of life? Because I'm sure that must have been difficult too.
Um, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. It just happened that like I said, I mean, I don't consider Guru Muthuswami Pillai a negative, person in my life. No, like I said, it was just that we were two different people, and our understanding of dance and our understanding of life, our understanding of space, gender, uh, politics was different.
Yeah.
And he didn't understand where I came from. And I, for a long time, didn't understand where he came from. Till I studied the Devadasi system, that there's the social, implications of it, the social outcome of it. And I said, yeah, I was able to empathize with what he was saying, but it could not be me, not me. But it was not me. Um, I did for so what happened was that I was in the national program of dance or some such thing, way back, and Mr. Hegde watched it, and he really loved the performance. He called me, and when I say called me, literally found out my phone number and phoned me. But I didn't even know he knew that I existed till then. Um, he asked somebody in Bangalore, his secretary, to find out what is the name, what's the number. So one day I just got a phone, call, and I don't know who picked, maybe my mother or someone, or my brother, I think. And he said, no, there's a phone call and someone says, Ramakrishna Hegde wants to talk to you. I said, yeah, sure.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, sure, sure, sure. Tell me more, with this person on the other side. So anyway, I picked up a call and the person on said, I'm Ramakrishna Hegde, and I actually joked with that person. I said, okay, like, what's it? Who are you? Kind of a thing, and come out with it kind of a thing. Anyway, but it happened to be him. It happened to be him. And then he called me over for tea to his house. Um, my parents were very nervous. They said, why would he want to have tea with you and things? So I remember my father was my chaperone for the first time. It was to his house and I went for tea. So yeah, so that tea, then they used to have parties. He used to have a lot of kind of get-togethers with artists and journalists and cricketers and all that. And he would call me. So my father would take me there. My father would drop me off. My father would say, "I'm giving you 1 hour, so I'm just going to go to the club and come back. I'll pick you up in 1 hour. So be ready." So most often, I would sit on one chair in 1 hour, and exactly after 1 hour, do the disappearing act, and not have dinner, not have a drink because I wasn't given to all those things. I mean, to drinking or to having dinner. I was far too young also. I mean, at that point in time in my life. So anyway, this continued for about 2 3 years, and then a relationship grew between him and me, and yeah, it was a beautiful relationship while it lasted till he died. Actually, uh, almost a relationship that lasted 16 years, which is a major part of my life. And throughout that relationship, also where dance was concerned, I never gave it up. I never did anything apart from it because I was so kind of tuned to it. and I never asked him for help. So it wasn't like I was getting performances encore because he recommended me. No, he did not. Or that I was getting awards, left, right, and center because he recommended me, because he did not. Because there was a very clear kind of a divide in my mind that my profession was mine, uh, which I had to pursue and, get to wherever I had to get to. And that my love for him and my relationship with him was something totally in a personal space.
Yeah.
He would attend all my performances, of course. Of course, he supported me, starting Prasiddha Foundation. It was his idea, in fact, not my idea. I was far too young. But the festivals were my idea. And, Sharad Vaibhava and Eka Aneka was something, it was my idea to have these 3 day, 4 day festivals, all night festivals, which became really famous in Karnataka. I mean, we used to have everybody stand in a queue 1 hour before the, auditorium opened. And what kind of people are you talking about? We're talking about lawyers, we're talking about judges, we're talking about, you know, uh, high placed officers
Yeah, yeah.
standing in a line.
Cute. Yeah, so I
Prasiddha
wanted to
found,
I wanted to ask you this. Uh, from being a dancer, then this transition to also being an organizer, an arts administrator, a curator, and a choreographer. So, how did this transition happen? Was it deliberate that you chose, okay, now I have danced enough and now I want to, give back to the arts field? Or was it just a natural choice and it just happened to be so?
I think, Madhur, my point in life was that, I mean, my thing about my life is that everything happened organically. There was, there's nothing that I stopped to begin something else. I know a lot of dancers, who stop dancing, and when they can't dance anymore, they say, okay, now let's be teachers. And then they, start teaching and then they become gurus. And after that, and they have, when they're in the guru stage, then they're not dancing anymore, that kind of a thing. But my life and my career was never like that. When I started organizing festivals in Karnataka, it was simply because I realized that Karnataka artists did not have their due on the national scene. There was nobody speaking for them. There was no national platform for them. And everybody, I mean, however talented you were in Karnataka, in Bangalore, you could not make it to the national level at all. The only person who made it was Bhimsen Joshi, who left Karnataka and moved to Pune, and Gangubai Mangal, at whatever level that she could, she lived in Dharwad, and in the Hindustani music field, and in the Carnatic music field, Vinay Doraswamy Iyengar, who was again mostly considered a South Indian, Veena maestro, Padma Bhushan, but South Indian Veena maestro. No dancer in Karnataka, even U.S. Krishna Rao couple,
Yeah.
who had taught people like,
Great.
really famous, yeah, Sudha Rani Raghupati was there, Sonal Man Singh, so many students who really became famous. Even they, never were considered nationally important dance teachers.
Yeah.
For a few seminars, maybe for a few lecture demonstrations, but never. Because whenever Delhi looked at dance, Delhi stopped with Chennai as a one-stop
Yeah.
shop. So anything national, Odissi meant Orissa or Delhi. Bharatanatyam meant Delhi or Chennai. Kathakali meant Delhi or
Yeah.
Thiruvananthapuram or Kathakali Center. Things like that. Clear demarcations.
Yeah.
And Kuchipudi meant Delhi or Andhra, or Chennai because of Vempati sir. I mean, that's it, only Vempati sir, not anybody else. They never looked anywhere. And I wanted to be a nationally famous dancer. I remember when I was 18, once somebody, interviewed me for a youth column, very popular youth column, a very popular newspaper. And they asked me, what do you want to do in your life? I said, I want to be, you know, one of the most important dancers of India, like Yamini Krishnamurthy. I said, 90% of the dancers of Karnataka turned against me because I said I want to be. I said, what's your problem? I want to be. I don't know saying anything against you. You can be what you want to be. I mean, so even to aspire was not permitted. You had to ask permission of someone to even aspire to be something.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the control in the field, the hierarchical control in the field, the mindset of the other practitioners in the field? It was an extremely closed, insular, small-minded community of artists, art promoters, practitioners, teachers, all of them, a clique, like a mafia. I said, I want to break this. You have to throw this open. I mean, you want people to recognize who you are, and what is it about Karnataka that only Yakshagana is important and not Bharatanatyam? Because anybody who is a good artist or a good dancer or a good singer should get a national platform. And what is wrong with that?
True, true.
You know? So for me, in my mind, it was just correctional, to put things in perspective, to give a national platform to all artists of Karnataka. So what I did was, initially, I would have one dancer from Karnataka and one senior dancer who was like nationally recognized on the same evening, one musician from Karnataka and one musician who was nationally. For example, the Manjunath brothers, Maestro Manjunath, the violinists, they're superb artists. I mean, everybody recognizes them today. So I would have an evening where I would have the Manjunath brothers, the Nagraj and Manjunath, the violin brothers, in the first half, and the second half would have Pandit Jasraj, right? Or I would have Parameshwar Hegde or Ganapati Bhatt sing the first half, and the second half would have Bhimsen Joshi or somebody else like that, or Vilayat Khan Saab, or someone like that. So I wanted the senior artists also to recognize that these artists who are fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
And who deserve to be on the national platform. While I wanted the youngsters to feel good about sharing the stage with nationally, internationally renowned artists, so that they also have an aspirational kind of a platform to perform extraordinarily well, to reach where they have to. Providing a platform, an equal platform to all who aspire was my dream. And it continues to be my dream because I think that's the only professional way forward in this field.
I know. And this dream has continued with your festival, Delhi International Arts Festival, which is renowned internationally now. So, how was the seed of this festival sowed, and how did it come into being?
So basically, it's just a continuation of my journey. Like I said, Sharad Bhai Baba and Eka Aneka became so famous. And so many musicians and dancers from Karnataka got a national platform to perform. And they, even today, Karnataka, so many artists write to me and, tell me about those festivals which gave them national exposure. We used to call it exposure, by the way, because nobody got a national exposure. For people to see them on an equal footing, it's like these are, even the judgment happened even before you were given an opportunity to prove yourself, which I don't know if it continues because today you have other kind of fora where you can show your talent, which, those days.
I think now Bharatanatyam is the hub of, Bangalore is the hub of Bharatanatyam now, I guess,
There are thousands of dancers in Bangalore, very good dancers.
Yeah.
Very, very, very good dancers. And I'm so proud of them all because, I'm so proud when I see them all and I say, this is fantastic and this is how it should be. But they continue to be innocent, most of them, and they continue to, aspire for a national platform. But anyway, let's leave that aside for the moment. So I did this for about 10, 12, 14 years, these festivals. In the middle of all this, I got the opportunity to do Vijayotsav, the Hampi National Tourism Festival also, which was Karnataka's biggest festival. And the government of Karnataka was thrilled that I started it for them. Finally, I gave it up to the government to organize. It was declared as a national tourism festival by the government of India within 2 years of its inception. And I had people, like I said, like Jasraj and Hari Prasad ji calling me and asking why are we not featured in that festival? Why are you not inviting us? Shiv Mani, things like Umayalpuram Shivaraman, Shiv Mani. So it was quite a amazing festival. And after I did that, I kind of had my children in between, and then I moved to Delhi.
Yes.
Um, and then I had a lot of tragedies. My mother passed away, then Mr. Hegde passed away, and that too after a couple of years of ill health. So all those were very, very, very
Deep.
very disturbing, very traumatic years for me. Very, very traumatic. I mean, disturbing is hardly the word because, like I often say, and I want to say to you because you said that this is for the archives. While my mother was the earth I walked on, I was so sure of her support and love for me, for whatever I did. Mr. Hegde was the sky above me. So within 3 years, I lost both my earth and my sky. And as a dancer, as an artist, it's very, very hard. As a creative person, it's very hard when you lose both your earth and your sky. And much after that, when I was being interviewed, people asked me, "How do you feel?" And I said, "Oh, like Trishanku." And they never understood what I meant because, you know, they said, "Oh, Trishanku." Yeah, I said, "Yeah, I'm hanging in somewhere, like a candle in the wind, somewhere hanging in between." But I'm neither grounded nor am I flying because I've lost both my earth and my sky, you know. But I had two beautiful children who gave me a lot of joy and hope and motivation, and I had my dance.
Yeah.
Um, and as I often say, the best thing about dance or any art form that you have is that it remains with you. You can lose everything around you, but you don't lose your art,
Yeah.
and you don't lose that because it's there, it's you, it's part of you. No one can take it away from you. No one can take that away from you. I mean, till they actually kill you, they can't take it away from you, because you can come back. So I re-emerged, and I remember a very, very senior artist calling a colleague of mine saying, "She's like a phoenix. She keeps rising again and again." How does she do that? When all of us think that she's fallen, she's down and out, there she is rising like a phoenix. How does that happen? And let me tell you, I mean, one thing very clearly, it happens because you have your art form to fall back on, and nothing on earth can take that away from you. And in addition, I had education on my side, and that's a very plus point. And that's why I always tell my students who want to be dancers, I say, please study, please, have your degrees. They say, "Ma'am, how is it useful? I mean, why we don't want to use it?" I say, "No, because education is never not useful."
Yes, absolutely.
It is never unuseful. It comes in handy for so many other things. Look at you. I mean, because it gives you so much of assurance about who you are and on the path you're on, and self-confidence and self-respect, the discipline,
Yeah.
which is with you. It's yours. It's nobody else's. And
So,
that is what made me create Delhi Arts Festival. I came here. I said I want to do something. I was performing, by the way. I had performed in Tokyo International Festival. I was invited, in 2005. 2004, not four, four, three, I was in Edinburgh Arts Festival. Then I had gone to Belgium, and I had gone to Alte Oper and performed in Germany. Um, so in the European Arts Festival, I performed, and then I was invited to Adelaide Arts Festival. So I had seen these festivals, because I had participated in them, I had danced in them, I performed. And I said, if these countries can have all these beautiful festivals, international festivals, where they're inviting, international artists, having art forms of all kinds, diverse art forms from diverse countries, from the most traditional to the most contemporary. Because in Tokyo International Festival, we had a group from Mexico. It was performing alongside with me. Then there was the Hong Kong's most famous, contemporary dance group. That was also part of, the same stage space that I was, put on as a traditional dancer. And then there were two other, one from Bali, and so five troops were traveling in different circuits. So five groups of five. And I remember wherever I went, I got the maximum number of flowers and emotions and tears and people throwing roses. Despite this, the Hong Kong's most famous ballet, contemporary dance group, the Balinese dance group or the Mexican contemporary dance group. So I said, people love it. People love our art form. It's our country. I was going through a phase at that time where there was a lot of doubt on, oh, does classical dance have an audience? I mean, would people ask silly questions like that? And, and sillier questions where they would say, oh, you're a dancer. How wonderful. Where do you dance? You know, where do you dance? Would take a step back and say, where do I dance? So that's a very profound question. I mean, where do I dance? So this is the elite of India talking, that kind of people were unaware. People are unaware. People, know just a part of something and they pretend to know the whole. So this is the world, the times I've lived in. So when I sat back and I said, if all these countries could have all these, international arts festivals, so why not us? I'm in Delhi. Sangeet Academy is here. All the national bodies are here. They're doing nothing. They're competing with each other, making their own small festivals, and having the same artists. So I wrote a paper on the Mandi House Mile, I called it. Yeah. From ICCR to Sangeet Academy to Lalit Kala Academy to Sahitya Academy to IGNCA to National Museum, National Gallery of Modern Art, the Mandi House Mile. And I said National School of Drama. Natak Kendra also was there at that time. The Mandi House Mile. I said, in this Mandi House Mile, you have all these institutions, and all of them have festivals where they call the same artists again and again. And the other artists are left high and dry, and these are all national institutions. So I said, why can't we all come together and have one mega festival where all of you put in, feature your own artists, pay for your own artists, but it's curated by a festival director who has a larger vision for, towards this creation and creating a hype for the performances and, looking after the publicity and all that. To put it on par with international arts festivals.
Yes.
And that was how Delhi International Arts Festival, took its birth in 2007.
Prathibha ji, you've always been a visionary and you always perceive, what will be. So in these unprecedented times, what do you think is the role of arts? We are all sitting at home doing these live interviews, programs, concerts, classes. So where do you think, what is the utility of arts in certainly these times? So if you could talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I've contemplated on this, for the last 2 months. Initially, I was very agitated and upset because I thought that our government was not doing enough to help artists feel good about themselves. I, in fact, even publicly wrote about it. I publicly spoke about it. And I said that, on a television channel, I said, take care of the artists. The arts will take care of themselves. Because in intangible heritage, it is the artists who take the arts forward. You let an artist wither away, wilt, then you're letting the art form wilt or wither away. You cannot have the arts on life support. But having said this, and I now, I know for certain I'm saying that the arts play an extremely important part in nation building and in giving you your identity of who you are. giving you a sense of well being, giving you a sense of self worth, all of which we seem to have lost today. Not us artists, but us as people of India.
Yeah.
Our own self worth, our self esteem, our self confidence, our sense of who we are, we have lost. It's only the arts that can inspire you, protect your soul, protect your soul, and re energize your soul, re infuse your soul with fresh energy, with fresh, with fresh inspiration, and inspire people that everything is not over. There's a lot more to come, and that this too is a temporary phase that we have to overcome. It's a test. It's a test of how of our physical endurance. It's a test of our mental capabilities, our mental endurance, and how far we can be tested and still preserve our soul. I mean, to preserve your soul, and artists help in this. Arts help in this. Um, I was having a conversation with some stakeholders yesterday, and I told them this. And I said that I thought the period when um, governments considered artists to be nachne wale, gaane wale, that those days were over, that you would now think of them as stakeholders in protecting your identity, in protecting your nation's identity, in protecting and furthering the cause of nation building.
Yes.
And if you did that, if you knew that artists were stakeholders in nation building, that artists were the only ones who are always frontline workers in any situation, be it war, be it disaster, be it calamity, because it is the arts and the artists who reassure you that this too shall pass,
Pass.
that this is also temporary, and that there's an impermanence to it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they reinfuse the quality with fresh ideas and fresh thought processes, fresh inspirations. They also help you understand your history, where you came from. If the Pandavas could survive Kurukshetra and go forward, and India could come, Bharatvarsha could become, what it is today, then this too shall pass and will become something else tomorrow. Because it's a continuity in arts which is not visible to ordinary people. I always say this, that arts and artists see with clearly, with clarity, what to other people seem a blur.
Yes.
Because the vision of the artist is very, very clear. And the arts help you see that. Because your own sense of, your own traditional history, your tradition, the continuum of your tradition gives you that strength to understand that this too is a temporary phase and it shall pass.
Yes. Thank you, Pratibha ji. It was really, really inspirational talk, and especially tracing your personal journey and your continued pursuance of the art and the never let go spirit. It is really inspirational, not just for young dancers and artists, but for anyone, from who's suffering from any negative thoughts. I think your life is truly inspirational. And thank you so much for giving us time and speaking to us today.
Thank you, Madhur, for having me. Thank you. I really enjoyed speaking to you. Thank you so much. And God bless.